How's it going, guys? I hope you guys are having a great week. So I'm back today with a really quick game news related video, guys. I want to try and get back to doing these more regularly because I really enjoy them, and it's just really awesome to share some really fun, interesting news going on at the moment with you guys, and obviously make you aware of things. So for anybody that owns Ghost of Tsushima or is excited for that game or are a massive fan of Ghost of Tsushima like myself, I'm currently playing the single player campaign and just I've fallen in love with the game. It's just an incredible game. Well, today we actually got a new announcement from Sucker Punch Productions, which nobody saw coming, and that is that Ghost of Tsushima is going to get a fully dedicated new online multiplayer mode towards the latter end of this year, and that is going to be completely free for PlayStation 4 owners which own the original game. So today on their Twitter account, Sucker Punch Productions released a new trailer. It's about a minute and a half, just kind of a teaser trailer to give you a sense of kind of the idea of it and the theme of it and what it's gonna sort of look like. And then on the PlayStation blog we got a little bit more detail about the multiplayer and what it's gonna look like, and that's what I want to talk about today. So what do we know about the multiplayer? Well, we know some of the basic things. It's a completely separate mode that doesn't follow Jin or his companions, so it's completely standalone from the single player campaign. So whatever you do in the multiplayer, it's not going to affect the main story. That's its own self-contained part of the game. The game will actually focus on 4 specific warriors who have been built up as legends in stories which are told by the people of Tsushima, and these legends are very well known, very famous kind of samurai and ronin. Now, Legends is the name of the multiplayer mode. That is what Sucker Punch Productions are calling it. The game, while the main story game is very much set, you know, in this kind of like real historical time period, that's just beautiful, really gorgeous. The attention to detail is incredible. Legends is a little bit different because it's actually focusing much more on the haunting and fantastical elements of Japanese folk tales and Japanese mythology. So we're going to get to see some sort of amazing fantastical locations and enemies that are very much inspired by Japanese myth, and it will focus on cooperative combat and actions. This is not going to be a PvP kind of multiplayer. This is more going to be PvE, and I'm all for that because for me personally, when it comes to multiplayer, I tend to enjoy the cooperative side of multiplayer a lot more than the competitive. So I'm really hyped for this, and Dante right now is currently playing The Witcher 3 DLC. He's on Blood and Wine. I think he's fairly close to the end, but I'm trying to get him to buy Ghost of Tsushima. One, because it's an absolutely brilliant game and he totally should buy that and support Sucker Punch Productions and play it, but also now it's going to have a really kick-ass, wicked sounding multiplayer, so I'm trying to convince him to buy it so that we can actually play this together. So the general premise of it, you basically can partner up with friends or via online matchmaking, and the multiplayer can be played in groups of 2 to 4 players. Each player can choose from one of 4 different character classes. So we have the samurai, the hunter, ronin and assassin. Each class will also come with their own unique advantages and abilities. We don't know much about these classes yet. Sucker Punch Productions haven't given too much information about them, but they have said that they will be revealing more information in the near future. So maybe we'll get some kind of like gameplay trailer footage for each of them. We got to see a snippet of gameplay in this trailer, but it was very short. So maybe we'll get to learn more about them. I'm thinking probably the samurai is definitely much more of a melee kind of heavy hitter, I would assume. The hunter is probably more of your ranged character, your bow and arrow. The ronin might actually be a little bit of both, and then obviously the assassin is much more about your stealth kind of class, I would think. So a lot more like, you know, kind of a ninja. That's the way in which I envisage it, most definitely. I could be totally wrong with that. They might be completely different, and obviously we're going to get to find out more, and I'm looking forward to hearing more on each of those classes, most definitely. So let's talk a little bit about the game modes and what different game modes are in the multiplayer, because we got more information on that in the blog. If you're playing it just with a friend and you're playing the 2-player cooperative side of the multiplayer, you basically play a series of co-op story missions that escalate in difficulty. The game will build on the foundation of combat from the single-player campaign, so that's sort of grounded combat. But because this is based heavily on mythology and fantasy, you will have access to some new magical twists and abilities that you don't have in the single player game. Apparently as well, the 2-player co-op will also have some degree of needing to sort of synchronize with your teammate to pull off particular moves or particular actions. If you can get a team of 4, there are then 2 modes which are going to be available. So there is obviously the 4-player co-op, which is where you take on wave-based survival missions and fight huge groups of some of the toughest enemies in Tsushima. But there will also be some new kind of mythical creatures as well, including new Oni enemies with supernatural abilities. So it'll be really cool to sort of see, delve into that Japanese mythology. And I think that's going to be really, really awesome and it's going to look incredible. Maybe it'll be a little bit like Neo or Neo 2, that kind of like it's set in Japan based on Japanese mythology, but there is some fantasy in there as well. And I think that will be really cool. And then apparently later on, not on release, but they are going to add this to the multiplayer later, there will also be a raid that will arrive shortly after the launch of Ghost of Tsushima Legends, and that will involve sending you and your team to an entirely new realm to challenge a brutally terrifying enemy. At least that is what Sucker Punch Productions are saying at the moment. So yeah, Ghost of Tsushima is getting a new multiplayer mode. That's really, really awesome. It's an incredible game and I'm really looking forward to the ability to jump into that game with friends and play it cooperatively. I think that's going to be really, really awesome. I thought maybe the multiplayer might be something like Assassin's Creed Unity, where you get to play through sort of parts of story missions in the main world but with friends cooperatively. But it sounds like they are going the route of Assassin's Creed Origins and Assassin's Creed Odyssey, where it is focusing a lot more on the mythology, fantasy and that kind of thing. And I'm all down for that. That sounds really interesting. I think Japanese mythology, it is an area that isn't really explored enough, and I think it's going to be a really nice, interesting addition to what is already an incredibly amazing game. And the fact that this is going to be completely free for owners of the game as well is just incredible, is absolutely amazing. Sucker Punch Productions have said that this is their way of thanking fans for supporting the game. And obviously Ghost of Tsushima has done incredibly well. It's been incredibly successful with good reason. It's an excellent title, and if you make a good game, people will buy it, they will play it, and they will support it. But I think it's really cool that Sucker Punch Productions have chosen to add to the world, add to the game, introducing a multiplayer, and that's going to be really cool. And who knows, maybe they'll continue to add content to the multiplayer as we go along. We don't know if we're going to get any story DLC either for Ghost of Tsushima. I don't think we will. I honestly don't foresee that happening. I'm not sure yet because obviously I'm still playing the story. I haven't finished it as of yet, but I feel like that game is probably quite self-contained and a nice, well-rounded story. But certainly it would be really cool for them to add new content to the multiplayer, maybe new characters and new classes that we can unlock. There is going to be some degree of customization, we're told as well, so whether or not there'll be certain weapons, certain armor sets or color skins that drop as part of it as you play through the multiplayer. I don't know. Obviously at the moment it's just a teaser. We don't know much about it other than that it is coming. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it, and definitely when it does arrive I will absolutely be jumping in, checking it out and playing it. And obviously I'll let you guys know what I think. But that was probably the biggest news today, and that is that Ghost of Tsushima is getting a free multiplayer mode, which is awesome. So let me know what you guys think of this news in the comment section below. Are you going to pick this up? Are you going to check it out. Have you played Ghost of Tsushima, and how did you enjoy your experience? Please share your comments in the section below. Hope you guys are having a great week, of course. Take care, and as always, happy gaming. Bye, guys.
The Mongols will learn of its power firsthand. Sturdy, surprisingly light.